Those oohs are more boos, Scott. Anyway, thanks a lot for coming down. This is a dream come true for many people, especially that even at this age, Jacques Perrey has just released a new album with all new material, too. Keeping up to his old standards instead of merely regurgitating old standards, which I think is pretty important in this day where all kinds of different sorts of retro are being embraced, but also kind of put in cages at the same time. And this time he's going to perform both old and new material in collaboration with the guy who made the new album, the Happy Electro-Pop Music Machine, it's called. And his collaborator this time is a Seattle electronic composer named Dana Countryman, who got interested in electronic music and the synthesizer when he first heard Jean-Jacques Perrey and his then collaborator Gershon Kinsley in songs from way back when he was a 16-year-old. And he was in several bands since then and did some work with it both in film and Arsenio Hall, television, and even once played a giant potato in an American Cancer Society commercial. Along with a green bean, and I can't remember what a carrot, of course. You have to have the carrot. But Jean-Jacques Perrey, of course, his history goes back much, much, much further. Born in 1929, and very early on realized after 4 years of medical school, he was destined for a very different existence as a doctor of the sounds of the great beyond, so to speak. And early on became fascinated with an instrument that was in its infancy, predating the synthesizer, called the endiolene, which you have one of these, I believe, is it over here? Yeah, it's there. There it is. There is an endiolene, which he will be playing tonight. And that got him in contact with everybody from Jacques Brel, Salvador Dali, Django Reinhardt. But the two who were most deeply maybe impressed by him and one other way to help him was Jean Cocteau, who told him that he felt his work was brilliant, but he should take it to the United States because he would never be properly appreciated in France. And Cocteau said, 30 years after my death, you will retire rich. And Cocteau died in 72. 2002, 2006, Jean-Jacques Perrey, thankfully for us, still hasn't retired. So he still isn't rich, but has chosen to enrich us with his music instead. When he came to America, instead of performing, well, Edith Piaf told him, send some of your music to this friend of mine in New York. Just do it. And as he put it, if she tells you to do something, you do it. So he did. 3 weeks later, a round-trip plane ticket from Paris to New York arrived in Jean-Jacques' mailbox, and he was on his way, appearing as a pioneer of the endiolene on things like, I believe, Jack Parr show. What else? He didn't do like live concerts. He went straight to television. Arthur Godfrey booked him. Gary Moore, I've Got a Secret. Johnny Carson, Mike Douglas, and that noted pioneer of psychedelics, Captain Kangaroo. Had him on as well, yes. Let's hear it for the political activism and lifestyle of Captain Kangaroo. Anyway, in France, he was self-taught on the piano. He went to music school for 2 months before he was expelled for playing in public. The students weren't supposed to do that, I guess, until the school deemed them ready and presentable. I don't know if they're trying to make everybody into another Glenn Gould or Carly Simon or what, but he defied that. Dana, by the way, also, some of you may know him better as the 7-year publisher of Cool and Strange Music magazine. Eventually, Jean-Jacques' work in New York led him to the Vanguard label, which always kind of, even though they put out all kinds of things, if you've ever seen an old Vanguard record, it's the Vanguard Recording Society. It says on all the albums, recordings for the connoisseur. And they've been dabbling a little bit in unusual classical music, PDQ Bach and whatnot. And then Jean-Jacques and Gershon Kingsley came together, and I thought this album was much later, but it was 1966, came out with the one that many of you probably know and are here for, the In Sound from Way Out. The goal being to take the pioneering electronic music away from simply a serious academic setting where some highbrow person goes bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep, 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 bleep. Oh, that's so brilliant. Here's another grant. And they wanted to get it out of the academic ghetto and make music for, the average people out there to enjoy. It has always been one of Jean-Jacques' constants that he's always made his music very happy sounding, because he wants it to make other people happy. And so it's considered In Sound from Way Out one of the great pioneering synthesizer records. There are no synthesizers on it at all. Hadn't been invented yet. There was the Andialine and a lot of Jean-Jacques recording endless loops of things on analog, presumably quarter-inch tape, and then cutting them, and moving all these little pieces around to get the different sounds in rhythm and to make it sound like, because they were in uncharted waters. It wasn't like synthesizers today where people use them to sound like a horn section when they're too cheap to get real horn players, or a string section or whatever. They made their own sounds. It was to get the public to accept these sounds as something pleasant and something happy. So, I think without further ado, I think I got to most of the real good stories, except the ones that JJ is going to get to out of the Incredibly Strange Music book. Without further ado, I will shut up, and please welcome to the stage Jacques Perrey and Dana Countryman.